is the most important question that you should be and could be asking your student if you are a parent or a guardian or a supporter of a student that is looking into a music career, or if they are already in their music degree and they're midway through, or if they're in post-grad and they're already done, or they're looking into graduate schools? What is the most important question you can be asking them? Hi, I'm going to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chelsea Melcher. I am a performer and a teacher. I have a music school with my husband, Paul, and we have wonderful, amazing students there. And I also have a performing career, and I've done everything from opera, musical theater, shows, master classes, recordings, you name it. And so today we are answering the question of what is the most important question that you should and could be asking your student or your child that is looking into going into a music career. So this could be teaching, this could be performing, this could be pretty much the spectrum of anything music related. This is the question. What exactly does that look like? And this is a question that you should repeat as well, multiple times. So let me give you a sample conversation between you and your child. And so, what is it that you want to do with your life or your career? And then they'll probably say something like, oh, perform or be on Broadway, or I don't know, something involving music. And I say, what exactly does that look like? And then what you're forcing them to do, the important takeaway from this is that you're forcing them to envision it, which is really half the battle. You're forcing them to envision it, and then in as much detail as possible. And you're forcing them to make it something that is actually measurable. Because if you're just like, oh yeah, I want like a dream career in performing, or yeah, like I want to be on Broadway, that's measurable, right? It has to go so much deeper than that. It has to, because it's like, okay, do you want to be a chorus member in a national tour? Do you want to have a compromario role in a international tour? Do you want to be a cover, or all of the million terms that are for variations of covers and swing in and out and all of that, understudies, all of that? Do you want to have that and then end up having a big break somehow going through that? Do you want to be a lead in an off-Broadway production in New York City? And see how all of a sudden it's like, oh, right. There are all these different ways and all these different things. And not that you can necessarily pick and choose to the extent of like, I want to be Maria in the international tour. But maybe you can. I mean, the thing is, you're causing them to think. You're causing them to open and be creative, open up their minds and realize that they can envision this. So maybe their goal is to be Maria in an international tour. Awesome. Now they're starting to think about it. And now they're like, okay, well, what would it take to be Maria? I mean, what kind of dancing skills would you need? What kind of style of charisma would you need if that was Maria? I mean, some things are, they just can't happen necessarily based upon you as them as a character and what type of voice you have. Obviously, if you're like a bass baritone, probably the likelihood of you singing Maria in a national tour is not likely. But anything is possible, right? But the thing is to find something that it kind of makes sense with the prototype or the character or the voice type, right? And then finding something that's attainable through that. And maybe it's not a specific role. Maybe it's like, I want to be in the chorus of like a tour of Hamilton around the nation. Maybe that's what I want, okay? So, or maybe I want to be one of the front row dancers in an off-Broadway production in New York City. Because y'all know, you're looking at that front row, their dancing skills are top notch, right? And then sometimes if you're a singer but you're not necessarily the strongest dancer, maybe you're like in the third row or the fourth row, And so these are all things to get them to start thinking. And so what you don't want to hear from them is vagueness. Like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, all that. And here's another question to ask them. What do you love about performing? Because if it's something for them, if it's like, I love being a star, or I love the applause, because those can be answers sometimes, be careful about that. Be very careful about that. But if it's something a little bit deeper, if you can tell that there's something therapeutic about it for them, if you can tell that there's a passion for them, or there's a nurturing to other people, or making people happy, or you feel like they themselves are incredibly happy when they're performing. I mean, these are all more logistical reasons to consider. And so that is the big question. What exactly does that look like? Because they really need a picture, because also you're helping them envision it and helping them see this is possible. This is what you want to create. But half the problem sometimes is that people just are like very vague with their goals, and you can have this in anything. Say it's like, I want to get healthier. What? What does that even look like? What does that even mean, right? That's not a measurable goal. And so when you actually get to a certain point, you're like, did I even achieve that goal? But if it's like, oh, I want to exercise, or I want to get my blood pumping, or I want to feel alive, and so I'm going to like dance or walk or work out, and I'm going to do that 5 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes each day. Okay. Now that is specific and that is attainable. So that is something that can actually, you can envision it, you can see it, and you know the steps to go backwards to make yourself in point here to get to point here. But if you're like, I want to get healthier, what does that mean? Right? So this is also something that they can apply to other facets of their life and really think about those things. But it's so important if you're trying to really envision a career that requires goals, that requires time management, that requires self-motivation, all of those things required for any career in music. You've got to have a vision. And then when you envision it, you can actually start believing it too. That's the fun part, is you're like, wow, look at all this is possible. Oh my gosh. And mindset is such a big, huge part of it. So that's all for now. That is the most important question that I recommend, the number one question to ask if you are a parent, guardian, supporter of someone that is looking into pursuing a music degree. I want you to imagine what it would be like if you had so much focus, so much zen, so much peace, so much calmness, and so much excitement at the same time before a performance. As in, like, you're not getting in your head, you're not freaking out, you're not becoming a basket case, or you're not a hot mess. So if you feel like sometimes that is you, imagine what it would feel like if that wasn't the case, if that wasn't a problem anymore. It would be pretty awesome, right? So what is the first step to that? Working with your mindset. So if this is something that's of interest to you, I recommend going to stopcaringwhattheythink.com. If you're a performer and you want to have more confidence, if you want to get out of your head, these are tips and tricks that I'm offering to you for free. It's a free resource that can help you have more confidence, to manage that anxiety, and just to feel like you can enjoy life again. You can enjoy performing. That's what it's all about, right? So stopcaringwhattheythink.com. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope that you enjoyed it and learned something. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every Wednesday and a new podcast every Friday. Thanks.